Morning, friends and writers and future writers and wannabe writers. Welcome back to the Right Away After Party, where we discuss everything that happens after we wrote, before we wrote, while we're writing. And hopefully, some of all of this we talk about will be good, useful stuff for you to think about and maybe apply to your writing. Nick, put us on track. Oh, sorry, I'm Kath.
And I'm Nick, obviously. All right. Yes, we do this for others, but we also do it for ourselves. Because right now, as we're talking about this, I'm going through in my head about what it is for the next piece. So, first part one was about discovery, pulling out an old manuscript and going through it. And part
Mm.
two is taking that highlighter and taking out the gems and figuring out where you can implement something from the marketplace today that would resonate with your manuscript. So you always want to think about the reader at this juncture. You don't want to think about yourself. You want to think about the reader because the manuscript's already done and you're just fluffing it up. Hopefully. I mean, unless it's in parcels. If it's in parcels, then you can do whatever you want to do with it. That's
If
like the
it's if
beauty.
it's what did you say?
Like in bits and parcels, like bits and pieces, like just if it's not all fleshed out and it's just an idea or strewn together ideas and it's not like necessarily a full manuscript that you actually completed, that what I'm just talking about is an actual full manuscript that I'm pulling from the drawer, that I thought was completed. I just didn't have the guts to go get published back then. So, and, looking at it and see if it has some merit. So what I do is I go through and but with the fairy book, what I'm thinking about doing is taking something from today, taking something that's very, very topical today and adding it to this manuscript that was written back in, started in I think the idea started in 1999 and the manuscript itself was in 2003 and then again in 2005 and then again in 2011. So that's still a very long time ago. But I think that's one idea is to like, and that's the next part is like, how can you make this fresh and different and unique and today? So does that make sense? Like taking,
Yeah.
and it only has to be like one little plot area or, at least, not even a plot point. It could just be a character, flaw or even like, a character trait that you're adding that's of today. So something that
Interesting.
to grab
Interesting.
your
Yeah.
audience. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's historical, then I mean, then you said everything's up for grabs. But
Everything's up for grabs. Uh, I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago, and it's funny how everything conspires and comes to you, at the right time.
yeah.
And basically, he was interviewing an author who, very prolific author, had written about 70 books, but was now
Oh
tired,
wow.
tired, and wanting to feel that feeling of rejuvenation again, the
Mm.
excitement of a new book, but like when he was just beginning his career. And so what he did actually was he went off and he looked at his old manuscripts and he judged them by which ones were what he thought were the best.
Mm.
So he pared it down to five and then he pared it down to three. And then he asked the question, what is it about these manuscripts that excites me,
Mm.
makes me feel these are the best stories? And he put it down to each one had a fabulous character.
Okay.
And it was that main character that drove the whole story that made it all so exciting. And I thought, wow, that is something really important to bear in mind.
Hmm.
Think about your characters. So, does one of your fairies really excite you?
Yes. Yeah. The main fairy. Her name's Penelope, and I really just love her tenacity, and I just love that she's one of five sisters, and her dad always wanted a boy, and she's just like she's so boy.
Hmm.
And I just love that about her, and she's just so gutsy, and she's just not afraid of getting into the mud. She does dandelion wrestling and she's a scientist, and
Nice. Well, very good for the new age of STEM and STEAM and girls being in, more
Yeah,
into science and chemistry and physics and right. We're
yeah. So
done.
I do feel like those elements of her character are for today, you know. So that was a good discovery.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Okay.
stay tuned for part three. So
Part
how
three
to
coming
implement
up.
all of it.